So I thought I'd go ahead and read something interesting again, especially for people who can't handle the truth. This is from autistica.org.uk. Autism Myths and Causes. Awareness of autism is growing, but there's still a lot of confusion around what autism is, what causes it, and how it affects people in very different ways. Here we set you straight on 8 common myths about autism. 1, autism is caused by vaccines. The biggest myth of all is that vaccines, specifically the MMR vaccine, cause autism. The safety of vaccinations has been repeatedly tested across large groups of people. High-quality research studies involving hundreds of thousands of people have consistently shown that vaccinations do not cause autism. 2, autism is a childhood condition. Autism is lifelong. In fact, in the UK, there are more autistic adults than children. Autistic adults have been overlooked in research, though, so we're supporting a number of studies to find the best ways to support them at every stage of their life. Research suggests that outcomes can change for people over time if they get the right support, for example, with language and communication and anxiety. 3, autistic people have a special talent. We know a lot of parents and autistic adults get asked about this, and it can be frustrating. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and autistic people are no different. Being autistic doesn't necessarily make you the next Einstein. Research suggests that around 28% of autistic people have special talents, but we don't know why. This comes from, I think, this third myth is a result of basically the news media generating sound bites on the topic, and so they always go with sort of like stereotypes and cliches, if you will, of what autistic people are like. And I think the idea of the autistic person is being a genius is based on kind of like Elon Musk, who I don't know that he's ever actually been formally or medically diagnosed as autistic, but in any event, he's kind of like what people think of when they think of the autistic person with intellectual genius. Anyway, 4, autistic people have learning difficulties. With the right support and a suitable environment, many autistic people are very able and independent. Around 1 in 4 autistic people speak few or no words, but they can find other ways to communicate. Some autistic people take longer to process information, but it doesn't mean they don't understand. Autistic people also have strengths over those without autism. For example, strong attention to detail and a special ability for seeing patterns and data can bring many advantages. I can attest to that. 5, autistic people are antisocial. Remember, this is a list of myths about autism. This 5th myth says autistic people are antisocial. Autistic people may need support with social skills or interact differently with the world around them, but most autistic people enjoy having relationships. People show their social difficulties in different ways. Some are quiet and shy or avoid social situations. Others speak too much and struggle to have two-way conversations. Unspoken communication can be confusing for autistic people. Body language, tone of voice, and sarcasm can be difficult for them to read. These challenges can make it difficult to make friends, build relationships, or get on at work. Taking time to get to know autistic people and understand their differences in an environment where they are happy makes all the difference. Myth 6, autism can be cured. While autism is different for everyone, the majority of autistic adults and families that we speak to feel that autism is a big part of their life and not something that they would take away. Our research aims to give autistic people the support and services they need to live a long, healthy, and happy life. Autism is a complex condition that affects everyone differently, so we focus our efforts on the questions that autistic people tell us they want answered. Myth 7. Only boys are autistic. Autism appears to be more common in boys, but girls are more likely to mask their autism, learning the skills to interact with the world better than boys. This can mean that many autistic girls get a diagnosis much later in life than boys, if they get them at all. Because unfortunately, when it comes to medical care, costs can leave people out of the medical loop of diagnosis and effective modalities to approach things. Okay? All right. Myth number 8. Autism is caused by bad parenting. Autism is not caused by bad parenting. Research has proved that parenting is not to blame. We are funding studies at the it's not to blame unless the autistic child is born into a dysfunctional and abusive family, in which case, there's going to be some issues. We are funding studies at the moment to support parents and help them better understand autism. This approach can improve an autistic child's communication skills. Parenting style can certainly help an autistic child to cope with the world, but it is definitely not the root cause of autistic behavior. When I'm not comfortable in an environment, my autistic traits are emphasized and my behavior can be difficult for people to understand, says David, an autistic adult. So these are some myths, but probably number one myth is this one right here. Right here. And who loves to use this? Oh, it won't let me highlight. Probably won't look. There we go. Who likes to use this myth and spread this myth and this falsehood and this lie that does actual damage to vulnerable and innocent people? Mostly conspiraloons, and often of the maggot flavor. So I would suggest that if you are on the spectrum and you know that these people exist on the internet, okay, that don't have anything better to do with the time in their lives than annoy other people, avoid them like the plague, because they actually believe this bullshit. For some reason they want to believe it, I think. You'd have to want to believe it because it requires that you lie to yourself, essentially, to believe a myth. It's a requirement. You have to say to yourself, I know that this thing isn't true, but I'm going to believe it anyway. That's cognitive dissonance. It's literally kind of saying, I'm going to stick my head in the sand. And it's really kind of unnatural behavior, really, because it's a natural state for the human being to be curious and look for facts and truths in the environment that they move around in. So when you see people purposely blinding themselves, you might. I would just suggest staying away from them because they need a kind of help that none of us are qualified to give them. Just wish them luck and avoid them. There you go. 8 myths of autism smashed. See you later.